Welcome back, friends.
Here we go.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about coded language in conflict. So, phrases we toss out like grenades when things get heated. So, when we're having a heated conversation, there are certain phrases that we hear time and time again. This is typically happening in romantic relationships, but I would also say in family relationships,
sure.
tired family dynamics, things like that.
Even best friends, I think,
Oh,
could
yeah.
possibly identify with some of the ones that we'll talk
Yeah.
about.
And we all do it. We say one thing, but in fact, we mean another.
Do you have a phrase that you like say a lot in a conflict and you're like, oh, I have to really stop like doing that?
Do you have? It looks like you got yours.
I do. I think it
Okay.
like if I feel like somebody is because I think let me just say I think I'm pretty good at taking feedback because I'm somebody who like thinks it too. Like if you're like, oh my god, you did this in that situation, I will be like, I'll probably believe you. I'm like, shit, I did that, didn't I? Like I'm easily influenced by your feedback. But I think sometimes if I'm giving the feedback, right? So particularly with my husband, like if I was giving him feedback, I think I come from a very like I figured it out and like I need you to tell you what I see, right? Like
I'm going to tell you about you.
yes,
I'm going to tell you about
yes.
yourself.
And I think like that I'm going to explain you.
Oh,
Like let me tell you about you. As much as I don't
Girl,
mean to
I
do
do
that,
I do that.
I do that. Or like I think he would even say like I think I'm educating him, like which is probably so demeaning. Like
Clinical?
yeah, not even like it'll
Oh.
be like medical shit. Like
Oh.
it'll be like you know that you're
Yes.
supposed to like you know decrease your sugars and that this is
Yes.
what's going to happen if you don't do that and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But I'm like
And I'm
making
trying
a case.
I'm trying to inform you, but it
Yeah.
does come across, I've been told, as what I'm saying is the right and only way.
Yes.
And anything else is clearly very wrong.
Right. And sometimes this is how I'll trap like specifically my person is that I'll come at you with data and facts, right? And he'll be like, "Well, I have a doctor." Like, yeah, but he doesn't really know.
But does he consult ChatGPT? Does he know?
Right. He doesn't see what you eat on Saturday night that has this sugar. Like, and it can be just very, you know, kind of like demeaning. And it does not sound like it comes from a place of caring.
So we're not calling you out.
Yes.
We're hopefully calling you into some self-awareness.
Different ways.
So that we can bring kind of our best selves in how we engage in conversation, but also understanding that sometimes the things we receive is maybe not kind of how it came across. So we are going to crack open the I'm fines and whatevers and let's see what's really underneath. Shall we?
Gotta love the whatevers.
Do you want to start with the whatever?
Let's start with the whatever.
Start with the whatever. All right, what you got?
So I think too, the whatever is obviously like a deflection, right? But it's also sometimes, if we're being honest, here we go with the mics.
You notice we're sharing one because we're
it's a freaking
TBD.
disaster.
It's coming. Our audio interface is coming. Things are going to get much better, we promise, or worse.
For those of you that have been hanging in since the closet days, we're slowly progressing. I mean, you can at least see shades of progression. Hopefully. The poor editor is probably like, could I ever get an audio that just sounds like it's done
so
well?
Should we just say, whatever?
Whatever. So it's kind of that dismissive, like, I'm done. And if you're using it, you have to own that part. You are trying to end it by saying, whatever.
It's a shutdown.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a shutdown. And I think also sometimes there is like layers of, I don't want to have to tell you or I don't want to have to say it. So I'm just going to go, whatever.
It always has that shrug to it, like an eye roll. Whatever.
Ooh. All right. Do you want to go first?
All right. So let's do. Oh, this goes a little bit to the whatever.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it the way that I feel like it's said.
Ooh, yeah, I love dramatic reenactment.
Right. I don't have time for this right now. Like, doesn't it make your blood just boil?
Did you see my visceral reaction? The shock and horror.
Clutch the pearls.
They're clutch.
I'm done. I don't have time for this. I know.
Ooh.
I know. Because how do you feel when somebody says that to you? Like, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you. I don't have time for this. whatever you've got going on, I don't have time for it. And it's judgmental, it's dismissive, it's hurtful, but it shuts communication down. Because whatever it is that you were trying to get validated clearly is not going to get validated.
And it's also an indication that the conversation is going sideways.
Mhm.
And this one, even I think can go sideways. People are like, this isn't productive anymore. You're like, you have decided that this, because I take that as a personal challenge, right? With my outfit. Like, if my
Okay.
husband says that to me, I'm like, I will find a way to get us back on course, to reroute us and make this productive. Now you just give it challenge accepted.
I will find a way to produce.
No, and
my
it just
friend.
it just makes it worse.
I
It
know.
just makes it worse.
Yeah, but it's an unhelpful phrase, right? So does it shuts somebody down? It invalidates. It crimples that communication that you were originally seeking.
Right.
So yeah, careful of those conflict phrases. That's not.
And I think if that's the case, if you're saying, I don't have time for this or this isn't productive, some version of that, something you could say instead is, listen, I think this is a really important conversation. I feel like I really want to be present. I'm not able to do that, or it's kind of going sideways. I would like to revisit it.
Mhm.
So you're saying, I think this is really important. So you're validating that, like, I do have time for this, but not the way that it is going currently. So that's like an alternative.
Yes.
That's something.
And keep in mind, if you do that, because that actually is one of the things I don't even know that either one of us have down. But when you are engaged in some sort of conflict, let's say with a partner or a really close friendship, and you decide you would like to take a break from the conversation, which can be extremely important and useful.
I need space.
Yes. Yes. Like if someone says, I need space, I have to walk away from this, like,
Yeah.
I need to take a minute, which is all fine. And actually, we encourage you to do those when things
Absolutely.
are escalating. But the big thing most couples or people in relationships and partnerships forget to do is
The circle back.
Yes, you must have a designated time in which we will re-engage with this conversation. So, case in point, say Kate and I are in a relationship. I'm like, you know what? This is too much for me right now. I need to take a minute. I have to get out of here. Like, I need a minute, right? And I decide to go for a walk. I have to communicate before leaving for that walk that, hey, I'm going to be back in like 20, 25 minutes. Can we talk about this when I get back in?
Yeah.
I cannot just throw my shoes on, go out the door, and have her wonder when I'm coming back, if I'm coming back, how long. And then when I come in, are we even going to talk about it? Or is she just going to get in the shower, go on about her night? It just makes that argument live in its own, right? It becomes
It
like
takes a life of its own.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest, and it's so hard when you're activated. And you don't even have to say, like, in 20 minutes, like, can we talk about this later tonight? Or
Right.
can we talk about this tomorrow after work?
There has to be a designated agreement.
Two kind of like anchors.
Yes.
But really, what you're saying when you need space, and you could say, like, listen, I need to regulate right now. I'm not trying to abandon you.
Mhm.
Like, even that could be
Yep.
a placeholder if you can't figure out when am I going to revisit this. Is just kind of saying, instead of I need space, I need to regulate for a minute. I'm not abandoning you. I
Right.
want to finish this conversation.
Right.
Something like that.
Even, I don't know, I've heard from a lot of clients too. I don't think Kate and I have this problem, but I know it's a big problem for many people is they cannot speak that quickly in a conversation. They can't think about their responses that quickly. So people like us who speak kind of very quickly and we're very active in a conversation, some other people may say or respond to it as in like, I can't keep up with the pace of this conversation. Like, I have things I want to say, but I have to think about what I want to say first. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So they need more time, and the pace is too quick. They feel like the pace of the argument is gone well ahead of what they can conceptualize and then try to respond back to. So it's okay too to say, I hear you and I want to respond to you. Can I have a couple minutes to gather my thoughts? If that's what's happening to you, where your partner is speaking much more quickly than you can keep up with, and you have things to say, but you feel like you want to cultivate them more, ask for the pace, right? Say, this is happening really quickly, and it is very important to me. I have things I want to share with you. Can I just have a couple minutes to just figure out how I would like to respond to what you're upset about? And that's fair too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. How about this one? You don't get it.
I mean, and like, think about it in terms of partnerships. Where do you go with that? Like, Because really, if you say that to me, my answer is either I do, right? Like, which you already don't think I do. So you just judged me. I don't get you. Whatever it is you're going through, I don't get,
Mhm.
according to you. So I either have to argue that I do
Mhm.
or admit that I don't. And here's how it typically goes in arguments. I don't. I don't get what you're doing. I don't get why you do this. I don't get why you say this. And so,
And then you go, whatever, I don't
yep,
have time for this.
yes, yeah. So it's just leading into this attack because if you're going to point out that we don't think the same,
Mhm.
I either have to argue that we do
Or admit that we don't.
or admit that we don't, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just there's a cave that's just getting bigger in between us.
Yeah, and really what you're saying with that is I feel so alone in this. I don't know what to do with that, so I'm going to build a wall.
Yes.
Also, I say this to people all the time, and you know this to be true, and it's a beautiful thing if you can remember it. You do not have to understand nor agree with someone to listen to them. So, actually, a lot of people in communication where they get jammed up is you don't understand.
Mhm.
It's actually not necessary
Right.
at all. And likely someone's not going to understand it the same way that you do.
Correct.
So trying to get someone and we just double down and I'm going to explain more and over explain and do all this stuff because I want you to understand if you understand. I don't need you to understand. Let me be clear of what I'm asking of you because that's where you get jammed up.
Yes.
You're like, I'm trying to get you to think like me. Oh,
Right.
damn. Like that's never going to happen.
Never gonna happen.
No wonder this is falling apart. But if I come into it saying, you know what? All right, let me think about how I feel. Let me get clear on that, number one, which often that's not happening. And number two, what is it I need from you? I just need you to hear me out.
Mhm.
That's it. I don't need you to agree. I don't even need you to validate. I don't need you to like understand. I just need you to hear what I'm sharing with you.
Right.
And guess what? The likelihood of someone being able to do that fairly high.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly high. I'll give it a 75.
Yeah.
74.8 to be particular.
I think in a way that people can understand, I explain this to a lot. Like if I was just to use my own personal reference, like I enjoy running. I like to run. I think it's good for my mental health. My husband couldn't hate anything more in life than to run. That's like, unless there's like a fire, he is not running. Doesn't even like a brisk jog, he says, right? So if I keep at him and say, but you don't understand. You don't get me. Like, this is amazing. He's like, no, I get you. You like it. But if my demand is that he likes it too, you have to be where I am. You have to agree with me. You have to think the same as me. Why? Why do I need him to think the same way as me?
Right.
It's
That's the understand.
he
part.
just needs to say, hey, I've listened and I respect this is really important to
For you.
But if I keep coming at it like, no, I need it to be important to you too.
Mhm.
We're never going to get there. Why? He's acknowledged it. He's like, this is a big important thing to you, and I'll help you make sure it's a big important thing to you. But the prerequisite can't be, it has to be as important to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one?
I mean, I think
Okay.
that was mine.
How about forget it or never mind?
Mm-hmm.
Really, what we're saying in that is, or what's being conveyed is, I wanted connection, but I didn't get it fast enough or the way that I wanted, so now I'm just shut down.
Yeah.
So never mind. It's like a distant cousin of the
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
right?
And it also has an undertone of you made a mistake. Like, as my partner,
Yep.
just forget it. You missed your opportunity.
Yep.
You
It
need
passed right by.
Yep, you
There it
needed-
goes.
You needed to do something for me. You didn't show
failed.
up. You didn't do it. So just forget it. Just
Mhm.
forget it. When we all know it's not forgotten, it will not be forgotten.
No, it's going to come up 9 months from now.
Yes.
When you
yes.
forgot to, we put the fork in the wrong part of the drawer.
Which will bring me to my next one, which is why are you bringing up the past?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you keep bringing up the past? Which is fair in relationships, right? And this could be best friends, this could be family, this could be interpersonal relationships and romantic relationships. It is fair sometimes if you are establishing a pattern. If you're trying to show your partner there has been a pattern that you feel is problematic in your relationship. If your best friend has, left you stranded before and you're trying to say, hey, this is not working for me. Every time we go out, you leave someone else and I'm by myself, not working for me. So if you're bringing up past it to establish a pattern that is hurtful or harmful to you in the relationship, it's understandable. But we have to be careful it's not weaponized.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
In most couples counseling situations, you do try to stay very much in the present tense. So what did that person do today? What did that person do last night that is causing the problem? And not necessarily going back to say, well, you did this 10 years ago. Can't you remember we fought about it then? Not necessarily as helpful, and can cause more problems because now we're fighting about things that happened years ago.
Yep.
And not no longer the thing that happened yesterday.
Yes. How about ooh, you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're putting words in my mouth. What we're saying is I feel misunderstood. Being wrong is scary. And that goes back to kind of what I was saying of like, I need to die on the hill of you have to understand exactly how I meant it, what's going on for me, and my understanding of it. And if we don't share that, forget it.
Yeah.
Right? Or like you took it wrong. It's like I hurt you, but I really don't want to deal with that accountability.
That one's rough. And that one's a rough thing for a lot of people to process and get over when somebody does that to you. Like when you, because again, if it comes from, if it's the response after you've been vulnerable. So if I say to Kate, hey, you said this the other day and it like really hurt my feelings. And your answer to me is, oh, I'm so sorry you took it that way.
I'm so sorry you feel that way. Do not say that.
Yeah.
Please stop saying PSA. Stop saying that. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're basically saying the person is wrong. Their feeling is wrong.
And you're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're not sorry I feel that way, right? Like that whole sentence is just caked in judgment and sarcasm, and it's a little demeaning too. So yeah, when you say to somebody, oh, I'm so sorry you interpreted that way. And for a while, I think that was a little bit of like corporate speak that got pushed into being, politically correct. Well, just tell the person you're sorry that they feel that way. You're sorry that they took it that way. That's missing the mark.
So what can you say instead of I'm sorry you feel that way?
So if I was the person, so let's we'll play it out. Like if you have expressed something right to me, you're like, Nina, like you did this the other day, and I really didn't appreciate the way that you said it to me, right? Even if I think you did interpret my meaning wrong, right? So let's say I really didn't mean it to sound the way Kate thought it sounded. Own that part. Kate, I apologize. I would never want you to feel that way, right? So you say to me, Nina, like you made this joke and like I didn't find it funny at all. In fact, it was kind of embarrassing. Like I didn't like the story you told. Kate, I am so sorry. I would never want to make you feel that way, right? So I'm not saying that I purposefully did it because I don't feel I purposefully wanted to harm you, but I'm owning that you felt harmed. I lose nothing from that. I don't lose anything. I'm not throwing myself under the bus. I'm agreeing with you that if that was the interpretation and that wasn't my purpose, we're agreeing. That should have never happened. I feel terrible that you feel that way. So I'm going to own my part, which is I never want to be the cause of you feeling that way.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
Discomfort or harm.
Yeah.
I also like someone shares that, and if people struggle with sorry, I'll tell you what. Woo, like it is like, yeah, no, not giving it. But if you say you said something and it hurt my feelings, you could also say, I hear you. That makes a lot of sense. Like I can totally see how that happened. I can totally see how that played out. That was not my intention at all. I'm very sorry. So you can do that. You can play that whole thing out. You don't even have to just like sorry spray. You can also say, I hear you. I see how that could have landed. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Like I can see it. I'm not agreeing with it. Right. I don't even have to say I understand it. I'm saying I see it. I hear you. And I'm sorry. And the example I always give to people, if you were going into Wawa, you're walking behind me, I'm in front of you, I'm hyped because it's Hoagie Fest. I'm getting in there for my $6 hoagie, Wawa, if you want to sponsor us. Yeah. And I throw that door open and smash you in the face and break your nose. Did I intend to do that? No, I did not. But do you think I'm going to stand there and go, well, that wasn't my intention?
I'm sorry you thought I wanted to hurt you.
I'm immediately going to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. Right. Whew. That's always the example I give people of like, you would not withhold the sorry there.
Right.
All right, you got another one?
You always make everything about you.
Always and never. Absolutes. Woo! The old black and white.
Yeah. And so we should probably pause and talk about the always and the generalizations that we make, right? So in relationships, we can do that very easily. You always do this, you never show up on time, you're always late, we do those generalizations and we feel like we've got some evidence behind it. When you're in a relationship with someone, you feel like, no, I have proof, I have data, I have evidence, I have, all those past things that we might bring up that say this is true. But again, to be productive in conversations and to decrease that conflict, what you want to do is stay away from those words because they're judgment words, right? So instead, saying, it's really important to me that we get here on time. Can we agree what time we're going to be ready? Can you promise me that we're going to meet downstairs and have our shoes on by this time? Whatever it is that goes with, you're always late or you're never on time. But take those words out. And here's just a trick we use in therapy all the time. For should, ought to, never, always. Take those particular words out and just find a different word. And you will be amazed at how many times you can make a statement more positive if you replace those particular words. Those are particular words. If you replace them with something else, it becomes more positive. So, should, for example, oh, I should have gotten here earlier today means I didn't, right? But if I were to say, my goal is to get there 10 minutes early from now on, it's a more positive statement. So when you're in relationships with people, the conversations can be really negative if you're using these words. So try to restate those.
And I think one of the things when you use black and white words like that is what you're doing is inviting litigation, and that is never good in a conversation. And as someone that is like, no, if I hear that, immediately I'm going to litigate. And what I mean by that is I'm going to now take the time to point out the 3 times that was not true, just to set the record straight. So then you get into this litigation of like, no, let me go back in the files and pull up the 4 times that this was whatever was going on. So then, and that's a common way, then we get derailed. Then we're just like, now we're going
now we're back and forth.
Yeah. And now we're talking about some shit that like we're not even talking about being late now.
Yes.
Right? We're talking about going to grandma's 80th birthday 4 years ago when you were late.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. And that you wore an outfit I didn't like.
Yeah. And I told you not to wear it, but you wore it anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, really, really trying to stay away from those black and white words. How about this one? You're being dramatic, you're overreacting.
Oh. Yeah, I have feelings about that.
Ooh, share.
I do. Because I think when you use that, and I'm not sure, and men will have to chime in for us and answer whether they feel they get that comment a great deal. I don't know how many men feel like, although my husband lives with a lot of girls, and so he would probably say that they call him dramatic all the time. But I'm not sure how many men feel like that word dramatic gets used, but I think it's a really triggering word for women.
Oh, absolutely.
Because anytime there's a lot of emotion, it can just be construed to be dramatic. That's like a term that just encompasses all of your emotions. So I think what happens is and just keep in mind when you use that against somebody like that, it basically says, this isn't about how you feel. This is about theatrics. This is about attention. This is about, you being showcased, but this is not about. So it almost says you're not truly upset. You just want to be seen. You just want to be dramatic. It can be really hurtful for somebody who is feeling a lot of feelings.
And I think we'll say you just want to be seen. And really what we're saying with that is your feelings are making me uncomfortable, so I have to figure out a way to kind of dislodge them. So I'm going to call them too much, too big, not appropriate, too strong, too dramatic.
Right.
Which I think, to your point, women primarily are on the receiving end of that. Not all the time,
No,
obviously.
not all the time. No, I don't.
But yeah, essentially, it's your feelings are making me uncomfortable. I don't know what to do with that. I'm going to put it back on you, and then now I'm going to label it in a demeaning way.
Yeah. Yep.
So now your feelings are bad,
right,
and wrong,
and
too big.
And we've talked in another episode about a lot of times with women, the tears come at the most inopportune time, and we can't say this enough, not willingly from most of the time. Like we're so frustrated ourselves that they're occurring. And so for that to also be used against you, like, oh my God, and now you're just crying and you're like, I am trying my hardest.
Do you wish there was a button, like appropriate, inappropriate?
Yes. Yes.
And it just turns them
Sad
off.
movie? Go ahead and bawl your eyes out.
Yep.
In the
So
midst of this conversation about how
stop.
I feel, I want nothing to do with these tears that are coming. It's so frustrating.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I guess I'm always wrong, or I guess I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, I have that on mine too. So, what do you think about that one?
That one says to me, when you're in that place, it's you're feeling a very high amount of shame that you don't know what to do with.
Mhm.
And so then you default to using martyrdom to kind of
Yes.
gain control or sympathy. Because then the person saying it might go into, that's not what I meant. You're not a bad, and then you're like, I'm terrible. I can never do anything right.
Right.
Then you start you start going on this whole thing, and so then it's about the other person trying to like de-escalate
Right.
you thinking how awful you are. So again, now we've taken a sharp right turn.
Yes. Which also can be very manipulative. And so there's
hell yeah.
there's a manipulative piece to that. If you use that, so if you say, "Oh, I guess I just don't do anything right," I get what you really want the other person to do. They've obviously pointed out something that is unfavorable. They don't like, or they have an issue with. And instead of addressing it, you're creating a scenario in which now you're hoping they'll tell you all the wonderful things about you.
Yep.
And I can understand the basis of wanting to do that, right? You heard something that somebody doesn't like, now you want to hear all the things they do like, but it's very manipulative. And again, you're moving away from what the basis of that conversation started with, which is, what does your partner have an issue with at that moment? You've glossed completely over it. And now I just want you to tell me all the things you think I do right. And there are ways to ask that question. What are some of the things that you do think I do well, but in a different way? You don't have to manipulate the conversation like that.
All right. Just a couple more. Here's one. Why are you making this about you?
Same stuff.
Ooh, that one's tough. And I think that happens a lot because you'll feel triggered. Someone's telling you something about yourself that you don't like, and you'll go, yeah, but you did blah, 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 blah. And essentially, we do that in a conversation because we're feeling shame, we're feeling called out, and we're trying to reroute our shame and our feelings back onto someone else. And it's also saying, like, well, I don't feel heard. Like, I'm not being heard.
Right.
Like, where does my pain get to go?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you something I'm upset about. You then use this as an opportunity to tell me about myself the same thing. When you did not summon the courage to have this conversation, right? And now the person who brought it up is saying, like, hey, I don't really feel seen, or I don't feel heard. And when does it get to be about my stuff?
Sure. I think that's fair. I think too, in the basis of all of this kind of conflict, resolution, especially within these closer interpersonal relationships, one of the things I try to remind people two of the things I try to remind people all the time. Number one, come from a place of, this is my best friend. Whether it is your best friend, whether it is your partner, who should also be your best friend in these situations, if you keep that in mind, like, I am this person's best friend, they are my best friend. So if they're telling me something, they're getting my attention because that's my best friend.
Equity.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Equity.
And so, I'm going to come from that perspective when I'm giving feedback and when I'm taking their information. So if my best friend says, girl, like, what happened yesterday? Like, you were really off. I'm going to listen because that's my best friend. So if she sensed something was off, I need to take a beat and be like, what was it? Like, how did I act?
I need to at least hear her out.
Right.
And again, you can hear someone out and not agree with them. You also don't need to let them know you don't agree with them. But absolutely, it's your best friend. Hear them out.
Right.
Like, you value what they're saying, and there's enough equity in the relationship that it matters.
Yes.
Right. And knowing that at the end of the day, regardless of how it's coming across or what is being said, this person loves me. It's coming from a place of care. I don't think this person is trying to attack me. If I did, why the hell am I in a relationship with them? Like, why are we doing this if I think you're out to get me and you're out to control me and you hate me and all kinds of stuff?
Right. Right.
Do you have any more to say?
No, just the other thing about that too is when you're evaluating these relationships, again, best friend relationships or interpersonal relationships, romantic relationships should add, they don't take away. Yep. Right. That's the basis of every relationship you think about. And it does not mean we have the same likes, dislikes, we think the same about all issues. Nothing. It just means when I have a good day, that person makes it even better, or I tell that person about it. When I have a bad day, that person makes it better. They add to my life, they don't necessarily take away. Keeping that in mind, though, there's conflict. We don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be perfect.
Mhm.
It's not going to be seamless all the time. It's going to have waves. It's like being in the ocean, man. Sometimes it's going to be calm, and then sometimes it's going to be rough waters. But at the end of the day, if that person's floating next to you, that's what matters. That they keep showing up, treading water with you. So
I love that. Treading water.
treading water with me, that's life.
You're a good water treader buddy. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're there with a life vest.
I will get you.
You're like drowning, and you're like, I got you. You got your orange life vest on. You're like, girl, it's okay. I got you.
I got it. We good. We good.
Yeah. Then you're like, you see that seagull over there? That nice, right?
As long as there's no sharks.
Yeah, no sharks, no sharks. So listen, we throw these phrases out like grenades when we're hurt, we're defensive, and we're overwhelmed, and we do it when we struggle to actually say what we need. And most conflict isn't really about what was said, but what was unsaid and felt anyway. So trying to have a better understanding of when this is being said to me, this is kind of where that's coming from, but also when I say these things, right? And so if it means something other than what I'm saying, maybe I just learn to start say what it actually means.
Yes. And I think we all in relationships need to work on the listening skills. And I think that's going to be a variable for everybody through their lives. And it's a craft we're all trying to hone. You know, we do it well for our jobs, but it's different in your interpersonal relationships. And so everybody has to actively be working on, am I receiving information as an active listener?
Yeah.
Or am I just trying to defend myself? Just take onus of the fact that I could probably make this relationship or this conversation go better if I worked on listening. It's the listening.
Yes. So we'll do a follow-up episode on active listening and
Perfect.
listening skills that you can add with this one.
Yeah, how to stay engaged in a conversation, like actually pull your attention to the listening, because it is hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Nearly Normies, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, stay nearly normal.